Hey there. Today I want to talk again about one of Dax Shepard's podcast episodes. His podcast, if you don't know, is called The Armchair Expert. It's not like I'm getting a kickback from him or anything, and this is not necessarily an ad. I just find his podcast very entertaining. And I've done one video on something that came to my mind when I was listening to him, and here's, like I said, another one. I think what I'm about to talk about is from the episode where he interviewed Anna Kendrick, but I did not take good notes on that part, so I'm apologizing in advance, and I can own my mistake with that. If you've watched any of my videos already on inherent self-worth, I can hold myself in warm regard in spite of my flaws and imperfections. And one of my flaws right now is that I have not been very diligent. When I write down the note I want to do a video on, I have not been good at writing what episode it was and maybe even a timestamp. So I'm going to start doing that moving forward. I want to be able to timestamp stuff for you in case you want to go back and listen to like his whole podcast. So on the episode with Anna Kendrick, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's who it was with. He tells this story about he was having work done on his house and he came out in the morning and yelled at the workers. I can't remember why. And then he berated himself for yelling at the workers. And he felt really bad about it, which is what berating himself means, right? By the end of the day, he went back to the workers to apologize, which is a wonderful repair part as well. And so this to me was a really good example of shame going into remorse. So if you remember from any other video, I'll tell you right now if this is your first video with me, inherent self-worth is, so if you were sitting in front of me, this little circle that I do would be way more down like at my abs, like I do it down here, because I like to show it in like your core, your inner core. And then for videos, I do it up much higher so that people can see it. And then inherent self-worth is about, I have worth because I was born. I stand equal to all. I can hold myself in warm regard in spite of my flaws and imperfections. And when we cannot get to the statement of I stand equal to all, we go into either a better than position or a less than position. If I'm not equal, I am better than or I am less than. And berating ourselves is in a less than position. So keeping in mind also that the emotion behind both of these is the same. Some people call it contempt, which is very negative and very harsh and accurate. And I like to think of it as either contempt or judgment. If you're in the better than position, you are judging others. And if you are in a less than position, you are judging yourself. So again, the emotion of both is the same. The question is, where am I pointing it? Am I pointing it out or am I pointing it in? Because I'm in less than, be it the contempt, judgment. I also like to say, don't quibble on the words, it's anything negative. And sometimes there's words to go with it. Oh, I suck. No, you suck. And sometimes there's not, it's just an icky feeling. Oftentimes for me, it's just an icky feeling, but I don't always have the words to go with it. So after Dax yelled at them, which is not great behavior, he then berated himself. So he goes into a less than shame-based position. Dax and I are not friends. I'm going to put that out there. I am not his therapist. So everything I'm saying right now, I'm making up. It could be, oh my gosh, I suck. What's wrong with me? Why'd I yell at them like that? Again, what's wrong with me? I'm such a jerk. For me, it would not have words. Like I said, I would just feel like icky and closed in for the rest of the day. I go into a shell because I suck. I don't think that actively in the moment, but that's definitely, obviously, the words I can put to it after the fact. I suck because I did that. And so he did speak, like I said, openly on the podcast about, like, he berated himself. He felt bad about this. So when we are in that less than position, there are only three places for us to go. We could stay in the less than forever. We can bounce up. Well, it's not my fault I yelled at them. It's their fault for doing that. So we can bounce up, or we can get into remorse. Remorse is that healthy center, optimal center, which again is where he went, which is, I can hold myself in warm regard in spite of my flaws and imperfections. I messed up, bad on me. And remorse is, I can now focus on you and what my behavior did to you, and I can come to you with my apology. And it's a clean apology. I am sorry for what I did to you. How do I repair this? So again, that's remorse. And he says that's where he went. Now, we can't always control the other person. He says that by the time he got there later in the day and came back later in the day and apologized, the workers didn't really know what to do with him. Not everyone in today's society knows how to handle an apology, knows how to handle remorse. We don't even have good verbiage, by the way. This is a quick little tangent for you. We don't have good verbiage in today's world on what to do with an apology. Frequently, what I hear is someone says, I'm sorry, and the other person says, it's okay. It's not. I am teaching my children, I made this up, I am teaching my children, and I try to model this in my house. If someone says, I'm sorry, I think a good response is thank you. Because if they say I'm sorry, they are owning that they did something. And so I just like to voice that I appreciate that they are owning it. And I've taught my children, if I come to you and say I'm sorry, you can just say thank you. Thank you, Mommy, for that apology. You don't have to say it's okay, because probably what I did is not okay. It's not okay that I yelled at you. And again, I'm teaching my children that. I am noticing out in society, people don't always know what to do with an apology. So Dax came back to these guys. Again, I don't know them, so I'm speaking for them. They didn't seem to know what to do with him. But I want to praise that he was able to get to remorse. That he did not, maybe he did at some point during the day go into a better than, but without even knowing my lens, he was able to get to that spot within him of, I can hold myself warmly, I can recognize that I'm a decent person, and I made a mistake, and I'm human, and not that it's okay, I'm not going to revel in it and defend myself for making a mistake, but I can recognize it's okay that I made a mistake. I don't have to berate myself any longer. I'm going to come to you now cleanly and apologize. So that was what I want to share today. As I've said, my hope for everybody out there is the more you listen to my videos, the more you really understand and embody this lens, you will start to hear it and see it when you're out places. There are many podcasts that I listen and I'm like, oh yeah, there's that. There's that. So as I listen to different episodes of Dax's podcast, I do hear him talking about my lens that he doesn't even know exists. So I appreciate that too. So feel free to comment below if this kicks up anything for you or if you want to talk with me about it. Head over to yourdecisiondiva.com, yourdecisiondiva.com to get my 7-page handout and all my contact information on the back of it, because I am your decision diva. I am your queen of clarity, and I'll see you next time.